After the departure of Bungie, the future of Halo was uncertain. 343 Industries had the difficult task of continuing the series, honoring the legacy of Halo, while still making something fresh and new. The result was Halo 4. While the game was both criticized and appreciated, one area most people were disappointed with was the visuals. Halo 4, along with Halo 5 Guardians, moved away from the more grounded and simple science fiction art style, and instead opted for what some people might call generic sci-fi. But seeing as Halo Infinite is going back to the roots of Halo's art style, I wanted to look back at 4 and 5's visuals and appreciate what they brought to the table. So, was the new art style really that bad? Greetings, Retrospective here. For this video, I wanted to go back to the roots of my channel and try and analyze art instead of creating it. And seeing as the release of Halo Infinite is just around the corner, I thought this would be the perfect time to look back at 343's first entries in the franchise and go over some of my favorite designs. The areas I'll be covering are the locations, the weapons, the vehicles, the enemies, and the armor. And just a heads up, this video will be mostly positive. So if talking about 343's art style in a positive way offends you, then this video probably isn't for you. I will not look past its issues. Instead, I'll just focus on its strengths. And these are only my opinions, so none of this is factual. But before we begin, today's sponsor, which is none other than Raid Shadow Legends. I know you've all heard of it, but let me tell you why Raid is great. In Raid, you unlock champions which you can upgrade however you want to best suit your playstyle to create the perfect team. Let me show you how I created my dream team. I started with Elhain, because bow and arrow. I then managed to unlock Sniper as an assistant, which then led me to Crusader. After upgrading him, I went over to the summoning portal and used a mystery shard to receive a new champion. But she didn't quite cut it, so I fed her to the Crusader, and he seemed very pleased. So once you've joined, you're probably gonna want to be on my team. So make sure to join my clan, and together, we'll fight the clan boss, which actually grants you the best weekly rewards. And there's a ton happening in Raid this month. They've got special events every single day, plus a bunch of awesome new champions. But the big update coming this month is the Guardian Ring. It's a huge feature that gives you a load of new ways to use your champions, including a faction guardian system, a new way to get legendary champions you missed out on, and an entirely new way to upgrade your favorite champions. It's a massive deal, and something myself and the Raid community are super excited for. With all these updates, Raid's never been a better place, and there are some giant updates right around the corner. If you're on the fence, now's the perfect time to get started. And if you want to get a huge head start in Raid, all you have to do is hit the link in the description or scan my QR code, and you'll get the epic hero Chinoru, 200k silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy refill, and 1 ancient shard, so you can summon an awesome champion as soon as you get in game. All this treasure will be waiting for you here in the inbox. But don't wait up, the rewards will only be available for the next 30 days. Once you're in, you can find me in game under the name Vernissage. And if you're fast, you can join my clan. And it's that easy. Just click the link in the description and I'll see you in the game. Thanks Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Now, let's begin. Halo has taken us to many different locations over the years. Whether it's urban cities, swamps, deserts, you name it. And Halo 4 kept that tradition going, while only keeping us on one planet during the entirety of the game. And this planet is beautiful. This planet is Requiem. After walking through a claustrophobic natural formation, we're greeted with a truly jaw-dropping moment of scale and life. See, what sets Halo 4's view of the Forerunners apart from the rest of the series is how alive every piece of their technology is. While prior games treated Forerunner structures as relics of the past, buried beneath thousands of years worth of dirt and grime, Requiem portrayed its creations as self-sustaining wonders of technology, a view into the prime of their inhabitants. What the right way of portraying the Forerunners is entirely up to you. But there's no denying the spectacle of Halo 4's Forerunner structures. Every detail on each wall is deliberately placed, and each light is arranged in a way to guide your eyes to the center of interest. Rooms are often lit in one specific color, turning what could have been a dull grey corridor into a cyan light show. And when a room is meant to be more important and integral to the story, another color is introduced to communicate points of interest to your eyes. In other words, Requiem tells you a story only through color. Another perfect example of the new Forerunner look is in the multiplayer map Haven. Here, you really see what these installations might have looked like back in the days of the Forerunners. The cold grey metal contrasting with the bright white and blue lights makes this place seem like the Valhalla of the Forerunners, a beautiful, angelic afterlife. I could talk about this place for an entire video, but suffice to say, Requiem is beautiful. While Halo 5 Guardians missed the mark when it came to the Forerunners, it introduced us to a place Halo fans will never forget. A place filled to the brim with history and awe. I'm of course talking about St. Helios. Prior to Halo 5, the Elite homeworld had only been explored in external media. So 343 had the perfect opportunity to truly create something fresh and new to the series. And they delivered. Walking through the sandy, mountainous terrain of St. Helios makes you daydream about what these temples and shrines might have looked like in their prime, and what gods they might have worshipped. Archways bring you from a cave only illuminated by refracted light into a blinding desert, desecrated with modern Covenant technology. But this is not the only side of St. Helios we get to see. Out at sea, there's the truly alien city of Sunion. After seeing ancient St. Heli structures, it's clear to see the buildings of Sunion were made by the same species, thousands of years later. This cold and dark place is illuminated by fiery orange lights and purple bonfires, along with banners and murals with alien symbols. This style is expanded upon in the multiplayer map Mercy, which, funnily enough, is a remake of Halo 4's Haven. Here, however, we see what seems to be more of an underground temple, honoring some sort of Forerunner energy field, pouring out water which travels across the entire map. Soft lights paint the corridors peach and indigo, resulting in the most visually impressive map I've ever seen in a Halo game. As of right now, St. Helios holds the #1 spot for me when it comes to the locations we've seen through the years. A beautiful representation of St. Heli culture, which I hope we get to see more of. Now, let's take a look at arguably the most important part of a Halo game, the weapons. Before 343's first entry in the series, the weapons had quite a consistent aesthetic. UNSC weapons were old school, often sporting dark color schemes with worn surfaces. Covenant weapons were round, shiny, and simply alien, for lack of a better term. And while the Covenant's look was kept mostly the same in Halo 4, the UNSC saw an overhaul to most of its weapons. The new UNSC look was more boxy and futuristic, ditching the grounded look of the prior games. But one weapon that I feel balanced the new clean aesthetic with the old militaristic look is the DMR. The DMR in Halo 4 is my favorite iteration of the weapon we've seen so far. In Reach, the DMR was sort of the replacement for the battle rifle, while in 4, these coexisted, resulting in the DMR getting a redesign to distinguish itself from the BR. The most notable thing here is how the front of the weapon was brought down, presumably to not confuse it with the BR's carrying handle. This makes the weapon seem more elongated, which in turn gives the DMR a more stable look. And to finish it off, both the grip guard and the optic are much more angular, giving it a more mean look. Moving on to Halo 5, the UNSC side saw very few changes. What we did see, however, was a brand new weapon, the Hydra launcher. With this design, it's clear 343 took inspiration from some of the old school UNSC weapons, giving it a very distinct silhouette, along with a very classic green paint job. The Hydra is hands down my favorite design from Halo 5. It manages to perfectly bridge the gap between the old art style and the new, which is why I never got around to redesigning it. I just wouldn't know what to do. So yes, I was a little disappointed to see it redesigned in Halo Infinite, but the new design, while a little oversimplified, does look very good, so I'll get over it. Moving over to the Covenant side of things, they did see some change in Halo 5, which we'll get to. One design that truly paid tribute to the original while trying something new was the Covenant Carbine. Like its counterpart in Halo 4, while being similar to the original, replaced the two holes near the stock with a single one, making it a bit more practical. But what sets Halo 5's design apart from the rest is the blue holographic display. Up until this point, the Carbine was known for its green glow, so a change like this was definitely a risk. But the blue Lotus-like display, along with the new indigo color scheme, made this the most pleasing design yet, in my opinion. Weapons are important and all, but what truly sets Halo apart from other game series is its diverse set of vehicles. Both Covenant and UNSC vehicles were recreated faithfully to Bungie's games, with few exceptions such as the Pelican. But even though they were faithful to what came before, they weren't afraid of mixing things up a little. The Warthog saw a beautiful redesign in Halo 4. The chassis was kept mostly the same, but it's on the very surface where the real magic happened. To beef it up, the Warthog was given silvery guardrails, which really frames the whole design. And to give it some more character, popping red fuel canisters were attached to the back of the vehicle, turning what once was a quite lackluster view of the Warthog into the most interesting part of it. While Halo 4 gave us very much recognizable Covenant vehicles, Halo 5 Guardians dared to change it up. Following the death of the Prophets, and consequently the fall of the Covenant, these new designs represents the new Sangheili manufacturers. The one I want to take a look at specifically is the Banshee. This is a vehicle we usually associate with smooth and bulbous shapes, but Halo 5 gave it more of a wavy look, with more intricate details. It's like looking at an ancient Sangheili design, modernized with anti-gravity and hypnotizing blue lights. What really gives this design a sense of world building, however, are the red markings going across the entire thing. I don't have the slightest idea of what any of it means, but it shows you, without telling you a word, who designed this alien aircraft. Halo 5 also introduced Forerunner vehicles into the mix, with a brand new Phaeton. There's not much to compare this one to, but man is it pretty. The slanted design, with its levitating discs being placed on each side at an angle, gives what could have been a stale and formulaic design a great sense of dynamism. While introducing brand new enemies, Halo 4 also reintroduced some well-known ones. One of these was the Covenant Zealot. Before Halo 4, Visually, Zealots weren't much different from your standard elites, sporting quite unremarkable helmets. But with this new design, the Zealots truly became a force to be reckoned with, and a terrifying one at that. While I'm not the biggest fan of the elite's proportions in Halo 4, the new organic style of armor almost gives the wearer a crustacean appearance, something you'd rather not encounter at the bottom of the ocean. The 4 lights on the forehead, however, is probably what I enjoy most about this design. The name Zealot refers to a religious fanatic, so giving this helmet 4 lights that almost resemble a cross lets you know this fanatic will do anything for their belief. A great way of connecting the design to the name. One member of the Covenant that received a major overhaul was the Jackal. While Bungie's games featured a more bird-like appearance, 343's take on the feral scavengers were much more reptilian, with scaly skin, shortened snouts, and thick teeth. As for their equipment, I want to take a look at their appearance in Halo 5. When they're not sniping you across the map, what sets the Jackals apart from the other members of the Covenant are their shields. And their shields have never looked better than they do in Halo 5. Now, Jackal shields usually have a flowing pattern that starts from the middle and works its way out towards the edge, sorta like beams of light. But what Halo 5 shields does is they send out waves of energy, giving it a ripple effect, almost like the shield is a pond, and you dropped a rock into the middle of it. I know, it's very specific, but I love it. And of course, when talking about 343's best depictions of Halo's enemies, we can't not talk about the Hunters. While all those lore nerds already knew the Hunters were just a bunch of worms forming a body, the depiction of them in-game never made that clear. Until Halo 5. You'd consistently see the worms crawling down the walls before you face the Hunters, warning you of what's to come. As for their armor, it just enhanced their creepy nature. While it kept the beautiful and simple look of Halo 4, what really got an uplift were the eyes. Their green glowing eyeballs really reminded you of how lifeless they were, and they were all the more terrifying for it. When it comes to the overall negativity surrounding Halo 4 and 5's art style, what usually takes the spotlight is the Spartan customization. With armor sets such as Venator from Halo 4 and Seeker from Halo 5, it's easy to see why people felt they strayed too far away from what made Halo, well, Halo. But I feel there's a ton of beautiful helmets and armor pieces that people are completely missing out on. And what better way to start than the helmet that started it all? The Mark V. Recreated classic helmets in Halo don't always fully respect the source material, but Halo 4's Mark V is an exception. All that you associate with the Mark V is present here. The blank visor, the whisker-looking vents, and the black pointy brim. Hell, all that's missing is the visor's reflection of the brim. While having a more round silhouette and more angular shapes, the Mark V from Halo 4 is the best recreation of the classic we've seen so far. And for all the noobs out there, the armor set you start with isn't half bad. In fact, the Recruit armor set is one of 343's finest creations. While paying homage to helmets such as the Commando and the Mark VI, the Recruit helmet really managed to find its own look, while still looking undoubtedly Halo. Its biggest strength to me is definitely the visor. The thick black eyeliner makes this simple yet elegant visor pop, giving you a place for your eyes to rest on. Now, reimagining old designs can always be a touchy subject, but when it comes to the Scout helmet, I think most of us can agree 343 knocked it out of the park with this one. While keeping the slim visor and the bird-like snout from Halo 3's version, Halo 4 doubled down on the angularity of the design and made it taller and overall more beefy. The perfect way of reimagining an old school design. Moving over to Halo 5, we received a ton of new armors as part of the DLC sprinkled throughout its lifetime, one of which was the Atlas armor set. This somewhat unique design stood out among 343's as well as Bungie's armor pieces, with its unusually smooth and round look, coupled with sharp and menacing details. The body armor is definitely out there, but the chunky and beefy look of it gives you that super soldier appearance the Spartans are known for. The helmet appears to be based on the SPI helmet seen in the books, but in a more angular fashion. A bold and unique helmet, to say the least. Halo 5 kept the tradition of reimagining old school helmets, with its take on the security helmet. Bungie's love letter to their Marathon series was one of the more unique designs from Halo 3, with its huge visor, resulting in a bug-eyed appearance. Halo 5 made sure to keep the humongous visor, but gave the helmet a more aggressive jaw and some needed excitement. Definitely one of my favorites from this era of Halo. And finally, I want to take a look at an odd choice, Mako. While I find the helmet's lack of a proper visor to be a detriment to the overall design, it's the body armor that fascinates me. The Mako body armor, without a doubt, prioritizes looks over practicality. Shoulders and knee guards have huge holes, leaving the user completely exposed to enemy fire, and the thighs and the arms are barely protected. But if the looks are good enough, I'll let it slide. And this armor is beautiful. The agile and ergonomic appearance makes you feel like a swift and stealthy super soldier. My go-to body armor, ever since 2015. And there we have it. Those are my picks for the most beautiful parts of Halo 4 and 5. Do you guys feel the same as me? Which design is your favorite? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I know, blasphemy, I released a video that's not about redesigning Halo, but seeing as this era of Halo has come to an end, I wanted to appreciate it for everything it's done right. And also, I could use a month of not redesigning stuff. Last thing I want is to be burnt out on the thing I like doing the most. So hopefully you guys could enjoy this video for what it was. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this, or if I should just stick to redesigns. If you like this video, give it a like. If not, a dislike. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I wish you all the best, and take care. Vernissage